Howdy, howdy, howdy. This is Johnny again live from sunny South Texas where it's 104 degrees outside. I'm now streaming from the Five Dog Digital compound where we have two AC units kicking and keeping it at a cool 76. So today I wanted to reach out to you guys and address a few of the questions I got. A lot of you saw my video on here and my blog and whatnot, and there was a lot of similar questions. A lot of you guys look at this and get overwhelmed and think, holy crap, that's a lot of stuff to do. Do I really need to do all this? To that, I say no. The whole point of the conversation when you reach out to us is to not for me to sell you as much crap as possible. I'm not that guy. I want to find out where on this continuum you are. Do you have a website? Have you been doing SEO? Are you running paid ads? If not, and you don't have any of the above, well, let's start at the bottom, So that being the case, let's start at the bottom. First, the main core to any online presence is to have an online presence. Not a big surprise there. You need a website. A lot of you guys are using Facebook as a website. There's several reasons that that's a bad idea. You have no control over it. You have no ownership of it. All you need is for Facebook to find one funny meme from 4 years ago and decide to ban you. It's just getting increasingly ridiculous. You want something that you retain ownership over. Some other questions were, what about like Weebly, Wix, Square, these little cheap do-it-yourself builders? I'd say if you have some kind of background or knowledge in SEO, these could be okay. They're generally not that great because there's not a lot you can do with them as far as the on-site SEO or technical SEO. They're generally drag and drop builders. You can drop some text, you can drop some pictures, not a lot else. So they tend to hover around page 5 plus. They're not going to be page 1 websites. They're not going to pull you a lot of clients. So if you are in an industry where you want your website to work for you and make you money and pull clients in, I highly recommend you do a WordPress build. WordPress is what we do all of our websites on. There's a lot of compatibility there. Let's pick on my own site, for example. It's on WordPress. You can see there's a lot of options, so it is a bit of a learning curve. That's why I highly recommend working with a professional. If you think a do-it-yourself web builder is cheap, well, wait. No, if you think working with a professional is expensive, try doing it yourself. That's how the saying goes. Yeah, you're going to lose money in the long run doing it yourself. Saving that money up front is going to cost you huge on the back end because you're not going to be getting any clients off that website. So you're just wasting your time unless you want a vanity project. I don't think a lot of people want a vanity website just for the sake of having a website. But if you don't need to pull customers, okay, yeah, that's a great option. If you do need customers, you want something like this. Now, these sites have what's called plugins, and they have a ton of them for everything. What we're going to focus on, though, is just technical SEO, which is search engine optimization. You want to make sure your website is set up in such a way that not only do you have a good user experience, you want the search engines to have a good bot experience as well. So on the user experience side, you want this website to really encapsulate it's going to be your first impression. You want it to encapsulate who you are, what you do, why the customer should come up to you for your services. You want to have the look, the feel. You want it to be easy to navigate. You want people to be able to click through the pages relatively easy, not have to hunt for buttons. That makes for a good user experience, and that is a whole world of difference. But you also want the bots to have a good experience, and to do that, you need to use several different layers of strategy here. I'm using Rank Math right here, and it does a little analysis to show me how I'm doing on my own personal site. I'll let you see behind the scenes on my site. Now you can see it automatically goes through and it'll tell you what your common keywords are. Obviously, we do websites and marketing, so those are the ones I'm coming up for. Now, if you were a therapist, for example, we do a lot of those guys. You'd want psychotherapy, psychotherapist, psychiatrist, you know, whatever it is that you do in here, and some of the other common terms for that. Generally, we run a keyword analysis and we'll find the top hits in Google. There are several tools out there, and they can scroll through Google and find out exactly what your target audience is putting into Google to find clients like you. So that's what we use when we craft the content of a website. We want to weave as much of that in as possible so that when Google's trying to find a match to a certain search inquiry, if that search inquiry is woven into the content and one of the headers or a meta tag or just in the content itself, it'll flag it and you'll rank for that. So by having as many different search terms woven into your content as possible, you tend to rank better for those terms. And in fact, that's why they say content is king. You want to have more, not less. I know a lot of people have been asking, yeah, I don't want a lot of clutter on my site. I want it to be real clean. Okay, you have a couple pictures and a couple of ambiguous sayings. Google's not going to know what to do with you. Enjoy page 26. Again, content is king. The more you can say about what it is you do, who you are, and why people should come to you, the more Google will see you as an authority. And that's their whole business model, delivering accurate, authoritative results for search inquiries. And that's why you want to do search keyword analysis prior to writing content. And that's how that ties into keywords. You also want to use that analysis for the keywords in your description. I mean, that's just the quick little blurb. You see it right here on every website. Everyone has their little blurb. I think you have like 150 words to get out what it is that you do. So you want to make the most of that, use those search terms. I got business, I got website, and 5Dog Digital Marketing. So there's 3 search terms right there in the description. You also want to use your heading tags. The H1 tag is the main header at the top. You want that to correspond with search terms. So I got web design, SEO, and pay-per-click, PPC. That's, Google Ads. So by having those right there, Google places me higher for those because that's the first thing it sees. When the bots scroll your website, they're going to be looking at your tags like they're the Cliff Notes version of your website. They're going to read all of it, but these ones particularly flag their interest. H2s are subheaders, smaller ones. Like you got your big header at the top, and then as you go through your various services, you got these little title tags. So I got a bunch more of those there. Image alt attributes. When you put pictures on, if you notice when you upload a picture to your computer, how it says like img 21786.jpg, change the name. Change it to Santa Rosa Therapist, Santa Rosa Psychotherapist, something that corresponds with what you want people to find you under, because again, Google sees that kind of stuff. No one else is going to see what the image is called. They're just going to see the image on the website. But when Google crawls it, it's going to see 2 things. The geotagging, where that image was taken, and the alt attributes, which is a fancy term for the name. So you want to name the picture something that corresponds with what people are typing into Google to find your business. Nice little SEO hack there. So then also keywords in your title descriptions. Again, same story there. SEO title, your taglines. Then we start getting into the smaller things. The more esoteric SEO details. You definitely want to use your Google Search Console. It's tied through Google Analytics. It's a free service Google offers. Definitely take advantage of it. It'll give you a ton of data that you can use to dial these things in and increase your SEO score, increase your rankings, and ultimately increase the amount of customers your website's able to bring into you. So you want this thing to be a machine that serves you and brings you customers. This is how you do it. I'm going to cover a lot more details in an ebook that's coming out, so subscribe below, and I'll be sure to give all my subscribers a copy of that as soon as it comes out in a couple weeks. Also covered in there is GMBs, which is Google My Business. That's how you get your business listed right here. So when someone types in web designer near me in my city of McAllen, Texas, right, guess who's number one? Yeah, there's a reason your old buddy Johnny's number one. So by setting up your Google My Business profile, which is right here, this is what it looks like, you're able to get your business listed here. Generally, it's going to end up more than likely way down in the weeds to start with, and then through the usage of SEO, you can push that towards the top. My ebook's going to cover all this, so stay tuned for that. But to give you a sneak peek on that, by setting up your Google My Business profile, it gives you several options that you can utilize. You want to have your address listed, you want your phone number listed, your name of your company, of course, and you want to have that same information listed across multiple different platforms. You want it on your socials, you want it on your profiles on Psychology Today, Manta, Yellow Pages, etc. So when Google does go to authorize your account, they're going to look at your website, they're going to look at your socials, they're going to scour the internet and check all these major search directories, and if they're all saying, yeah, that's him, you won't have any problems. You'll get this thing approved quick and easy. If there's any inconsistency, you're going to have a bad time. So that being the case, you definitely want to dial that stuff in first before you send for the envelope here. But then once you get it, you can then start building your reviews, you can start posting, you can start adding your services. The more you use your GMB profile, the better you will rank in the GMB. Google loves it when you use Google products. So by using their GMB profile, by using Google Analytics plugged into your website and Google Search Console, Google's going to favor you because they know you back and forth. They have the VIP access to the backstage of your website already, and now you're advertising on them. You're utilizing their services more than ever, and they will love that for it and reward you handsomely for it. So one thing I quickly touched on was socials and profiles. I'm not going to go too deep into socials. Everyone has social media. Everyone knows how to run social media. I would just say have a business page and definitely promote that page. Keep posting regularly to that page. That is definitely a stream of revenue that'll fuel the overall river of leads coming through your website. So you want more creeks feeding that river. No river pops out of the ground on its own. It's usually several thousand small creeks that feed that river and make it a giant, massive body of water. So you want your socials feeding that thing. You want your profiles on all these directories feeding that thing. In fact, you want all the directories feeding that thing, all the major ones. And in fact, another little trick that we do is when we're doing our SEO analysis, we generally go through and I will grab like the top 5 guys and I'll run them through my tools, and I can find out where every single one of these guys has their business listed. And I can make a master list that will then cover the sum of all of these listings, plus a couple more, because certain niches like doctors, psychotherapists, we've been doing a lot of websites for these guys, so we know all the good directories, and we like to put them on there so that when Google does go searching around and they find that you have a broader digital reach, you're on more directories, that just helps your case and makes you more of an authority, and Google rewards you in the GMB section for that. That's why. Then it's just a matter of pumping up your reviews and posting at least once